Yesterday's video stopped with number, I think it was 20. 21, 22, 23, 24 are kind of the same kinds of problems, so I'm just not going to redo those. So I'm going to start here with 24. We're going to try and get all the way through 40. But if you're asked to find the inverse, God bless you, God bless you, God bless you. You guys remember how to find the inverse? God bless you. What do we have to multiply first? A times D, good, minus B times C. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get this value down here underneath your fraction. What happens if we multiply those two together, the A times D and the B and C, and we get 0? What would that tell you about the inverse? There is none, correct. Because if this value is a 0 down here, that means it's undefined. It's impossible. So A times D, we're going to say 16 times negative 3 minus 4 times negative 5. So calculators, please. 16 and negative 3 is negative 48. Yes. So negative 48 plus 20 is going to give me what number? Negative 28. So down here is going to go negative 28. Now, how do we set up to find the inverse? You're going to switch the places of A and D. So negative 3 comes up here. 16 goes down here. Then you negate the signs of B and C. So positive 4 becomes negative, and negative 5 becomes positive. Everybody with me? Yes. And then we just distribute. If you can simplify, simplify. 3 and 28 doesn't simplify, so it just becomes positive 3 over 28. 5 and 28 does not simplify, so it's negative 5 over 28. 4 and 28 do simplify, so this would become what? 2 over 14, which again would become what? 1 over 7? Positive. Yeah. And then here this would simplify by 4, which would become what? 4 over 7? So negative 4 over 7. So that would be your inverse for that one. We did an augmented matrix one yesterday. Remember, this is your X, this is your Y, this is your Z. And what is this after that bar? It's the answer. So if there's a 0, you can either leave it blank or you can write 0. But this would just be 2X minus 3Y plus 0Z equals 23. 0X minus 11Y plus 8Z equals negative 8. And then 6X plus 1Y plus 5Z equals 7. Yeah? All right, remember dimensions. We did this again yesterday. It's row by column. So left and right by up and down. So we go 1, 2, 3 rows by 1, 2, 3 columns. This is a 3 by 3. Questions? All right, so now let's talk about finding the indicated term of the sequence. Okay, again, you guys are going to be given all the formulas on the formula sheet, but this is not in a case of using a formula or trying to figure out a rule. You're just plugging in a number. So in this case, what number are we plugging in? 16. So guys, watch. I have negative 2 to the 16th power, and then 4 times 16 plus 1. On our test, some of us got this wrong. When this power happened to be an odd power because you didn't put your number in parentheses. That says negative 2 raised to the 16th power, not 2 to the 16th power. Put a negative in front of it. So what is negative 2 raised to the 16th power? 6, 5, 5, 3, 6. Okay, and it's positive, good. And then what's 16 times 4? 64 plus 1 is 65. So when you multiply those two numbers together, what do you get? 4259840? All right, perfect. Good. That's just a matter of evaluating using your calculator. But remember, if you're plugging in a negative number, you've got to put it in parentheses. All right, so let's look at the next one. If it wants the first 3 terms, what numbers am I plugging in? 1, 2, and 3. So just be careful here. I have 1 squared over 2 times 1 minus 3. It says no decimal answers. So leave it as a fraction. This is 1 over 2 minus 3, negative 1. So your answer is negative 1. For the second term, you have 2 squared over 2 times 2 minus 3. Well, that's 4 over 4 minus 3 is 1. So just 4, right? And then 3 squared over 2 times 3 minus 1. So 9 over 6 minus 1 is what? Oh, shoot. This should be a 3. I'm sorry. 6 minus 3 is what? 3. And then what does that simplify to? 3. All right, so I understand this says no decimals. Is there a case here where a decimal would even be a possibility? No, so no big deal. All right, this was one just from your quiz that you guys just took and your test. What is important about the wording in this question? What's the number one important thing to read?
Arithmetic.
Arithmetic. That means this is what kind of a function? It's linear. Since it's linear, you can find what? It is arithmetic, but what can you find?
The slope.
The slope. That's your common difference. 6 comma negative 15. And then 31 comma negative 65. Your common difference in a linear function is going to be the same. You're adding or subtracting the same thing every time, so you can just find the slope. So negative 65 minus a negative is going to give me plus 15 over what's 31 minus 6. So what's negative 65 plus 15? Negative 50, okay. That's important. And then 31 minus 26? Sorry, 31 minus 6. I'm thinking my mind what my answer is going to be. 25. J-Marie. 25. What's negative 50 divided by 25? Negative 2. So you know that your rule is going to be a sub n, negative 2, something, plus something, minus something, whatever. How do we figure out what that is? Take one of the terms. I'm going to use this one. The sixth term is negative 15. I'm looking for the first term, and I say plus, what term number are we talking about? The sixth, so 6 minus 1 times your negative 2, which is your common difference. So negative 15 equals a sub 1 plus 6 minus 1 is 5. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. So we're going to add 10 to both sides. So the first term is negative 5. So now I have enough information. I can say, okay, a sub n equals negative 5 plus n minus 1 times negative 2, and we distribute. So you have negative 5 plus negative 2n plus 2. When you combine negative 5 and positive 2, what do you get? Minus 3. So there's your rule right there. And then if you're going to find the 101st term, what do? You plug in. Good. Now, if this was a multiple choice question, you guys could just work backwards. You could just plug in the answers and see which rule works. But if it's not multiple choice, you have to use the formula. Now, the formula, the a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times your common difference, that'll be given to you on the formula sheet. But when you plug in 101, what's negative 2 times 101? Negative 202 minus 3 gives you negative 205, right? So that would be your answer there. Now again, for number 30, they're going to give you the partial sum formula. The partial sum formula for an arithmetic. How do I look at this and know this is arithmetic? Because there's no exponent. Perfect. So I need the first term, and I need the last term, and I need to know how many numbers I'm talking about. So this formula will be given to you. How do you find the numbers that you're talking about? You take 275 minus 6 plus 1. That's your n value. That's how many numbers you're talking about. So what's 275 minus 6 plus 1? 270? Okay, so there's 270 numbers. That's my n value. How do you find the first term? You don't plug in 1. What do you plug in? 6. So you have 4 times 6 minus 7. 24 minus 7 is what? How much? Okay, so 17 is going to go right there. And then to find the last term, what number do you plug in? 275. So 4 times 275 minus 7. What's 4 times 275? 1100 minus 7 gives you 1093. Okay, that goes right there. So once you have all that information, you just throw it in the formula. So it's 270 over 2, 17 plus 1093. So what's 17 plus 1093? What is it? 1, okay. And then what's 270 divided by 2? 135. All right, and then multiply those together. There you go. There's your sum. Again, though, that formula will be given to you. You just have to know if it's arithmetic or geometric. How did Anthony know it was arithmetic? Because there's no exponent. If it was an exponent, it'd be geometric. All right, same kind of concept. Let's go through this again. Given the sequence, write the rule. All right, I need to know two things to write the rule. I need to know the first term, and I need to know what's happening each time. How did I get from 11 to negative 4? How did I get from negative 4 to 3? How did I get from 3 to 10? Plus 7. Is this an arithmetic or geometric? Arithmetic, because you're adding. Good. So your common difference is 7. Your first term is negative 11. You have everything you need to write the rule. A sub n equals the first term, which is negative 11, plus n minus 1 times your common difference. So we distribute. You have negative 11 plus 7n minus 7. So your rule is 7n minus 18. And then how do you find the 19th term? You say 7 times 19 minus 18. What's 7 times 19? What is it? 133 minus 18. And that gives you your 19th term. All right, these next two are 100. Actually, the next three are all from your last test. We picked these because those were the ones that kind of gave us the most trouble. A lot of you with this one told me your calculator wouldn't do it. And I told you guys, if it says no decimals and your calculator won't simplify, you have to do it in parts. So the first thing I would do here is say, okay, negative 2 to the 9th power, and then negative 9 plus 8 over 9 to the 3rd. All right, plug everything in. Now simplify each piece. On the outside, what is negative 2 to the 9th power? Negative 512, okay. And then what's negative 9 plus 8? Negative 1. And then what's 9 to the 3rd power? 729, okay. Some of you got here and then tried to do it all on your calculator and it just didn't work. Wasn't okay. Because it says no decimals. So that means we have to just simplify within. First of all, guys, a negative times a negative is going to give you a what? Positive, okay? So you have 512 over 729. Divide that in your calculator. Do you get a nice, beautiful whole number? No. Okay, so let's see if we can just simplify this fraction. Does 2 go into both of these? No. Let's try 3. 5 plus 1 is 6, plus 2 is 8. Okay, 3 is not going to go in. 4? No. 5? No. 6? No. Is anything going to simplify here? So then this is it. This is your answer. But some of you got points off because you just gave me some crazy decimal. If it does not simplify pretty, then just simplify within. See if you can make the fraction smaller. All right, find the indicated term. Ooh, this is not a good question. Why is this not a good question? What did we forget to tell you? If it was what? Arithmetic or geometric. All right, cross this one off. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. If you have one like that on your final, and we'll go over these a little more as we get closer, I will make sure it says arithmetic or geometric. All right, find the partial sum. What does it say? Fractions or decimals are okay. So which formula am I going to use? Which sum formula should I use? Arithmetic. How come this one is arithmetic? There's no exponents. Good. So you know, I got to use this one. The one that Mrs. Meadows is going to give me. It's n over 2 and then a sub 1 plus a sub n. How do you find the n? How do you know the number of numbers? It's top minus bottom plus 1. What's 258 minus 9 plus 1? 250. Okay, so this goes here. How do you find the first term? What number do you plug in? So 2 times 9 over 5 plus 7. It says fractions are okay. So use fractions. What's 2 times 9? 18. What's 18 divided by 5? plus 7. So 10.6, okay, this is going to go right here, my first term. And then the last term, what number am I going to plug in? 258. So 2 times 258 divided by 5 plus 7. So in your calculators, do 2 times 258, divide that by 5, and then hit plus 7. 110.2. Okay, so then that is going to go right there. So you have 250 divided by 2 times 10.6 plus 110.2. So what's 10.6 plus 110.2? 120.8, good. And then what's 250 divided by 2? 125, all right, multiply those two together. How much? 151? Just 1510?
Another 0.
Perfect. That one came out nice and pretty. Good. All right, find the exact sum of the infinite. This is important that they told you it was what? Infinite. That means you use the formula that is for the infinite. That's a sub 1 over 1 minus r. That will be on your formula sheet. How do you know looking at this that this is infinite, even if I didn't tell you? Has the infinity sign. So you need to find two things. You need to find the r, which is what's in parentheses. This is your r. And you have to find the first term. What do I plug in to find the first term? 3. So my first term is going to be 2 times 1 over 4 to the 3 minus 1 power. Now, why is it important that it says exact? What does that mean? No what? No decimals. So you're going to have to simplify this, guys, with n. If I have something raised to the second power, that goes to my numerator and to the denominator. So this is 2 times 1 over 16. Everybody agree? Now, when I simplify this, this is 2 over 1 times 1 over 16. This gives me 1/8. Everybody see that? So your first term is 1 over 8. Now, on the bottom, you have 1 minus r. Well, your r value is 1 over 4. Can I rewrite 1 as fourths? What is 1 whole in terms of fourths? So this is 4 over 4, right? So you have 1 over 8 divided by 3 over 4. Would you keep your answer like this? No. What do we need to do? Keep, change, flip. So 8 becomes 2. This becomes 1. What is your answer here? 1/6. When it says exact, that means no decimals. So you're going to have to keep it as a fraction. All right, just by looking at this, there's one indication that you know exactly what kind of a rule this is, whether it's arithmetic or geometric. Just by looking, what can you tell? Why? You are correct, but how come? How do you know that you're multiplying by 2? Look at the signs. When you add or subtract, do the signs ever flip? No. So you know right now that this is a geometric. You know that this is a(n) equals first term times r to the n minus 1. You know it's geometric because the signs flip. So you already know the first term. What's the first term? Negative 2/3. Okay, how do we figure out what the r is? Some of you can just look at it and figure it out. Some of you are like, I'm not quite sure. What did I tell you? What's the trick? Take what? Take any term, second divided by the first, third divided by the second, whatever. I'm going to take negative 8 over 3 and divide it by the one in front of it, 4 over 3. When you divide fractions, you keep, change, and flip, correct? Yes? Okay, so what happens here? These 3's cancel. Negative 8 divided by 4 is negative 2. So your common ratio is negative 2. And then how would you find the 15th, or what is it, 13? 15. How would you find the 15th? You plug in 15. So it'd be negative 2 over 3 Negative 2 to the what power? 14, right? Because it's 15 minus 1. So first, guys, what's negative 2 to the 14th power? 16384. All right, and then it says no decimals, exact answers. So multiply 16384 times negative 2. What do you get? Negative 32768. All right, divide that by 3. Does it divide pretty? Nope, so then this is your answer. Right there. Right there. All right, 37 is one of those long ones. A lot of you missed this on the test. That's why we put it on here. It says this is a geometric sequence. So that means I know my rule is first term times r to the n minus 1. But they don't tell me enough information. I cannot just put these 2 points together and say, oh, here's the slope. Doesn't work like that. So the first thing we're going to do, guys, is find the r. You always find the r first. So you take the two things that they gave you. They gave you the 7th term and the 3rd term. I'm going to say A7 equals A3 times R to a power. What is that power going to be? How far away is 7 from 3? This is 4 spaces away. So my 7th term is 32 over 3. My 3rd term is 2 over 3. And then I have R to the 4th power. However many spaces away, that's what you use as your exponent. So how do I get that 2/3 to go to the other side? Multiply by what? 3 over 2? Yep, okay, multiply by the reciprocal, so that cancels. So I just have R to the 4th equals, my 3's cancel. What's 32 divided by 2? 16. And then how do I find out what R is? If I know R to the 4th is 16. You take what? The 4th root? What number times itself 4 times gives me 16? It is 2. So you now know what your common ratio is. You know that number is 2. How do you find the first term? We're going to do the exact same thing. But I'm going to use, you can use whichever one you want. I'm going to use the 3rd term. I'm going to say, okay, the 3rd term is A sub 1 times R to the how many spaces away is 3 from 1? How many spaces away? It's 2 spaces. So now I fill in, okay, my 3rd term was 2 over 3. I don't know what my first term is, but I do know that my common ratio is 2, and I'm going to raise that to the 2nd power. So 2 over 3 equals 4 times A sub 1, right? How do you get the 4 to go to the other side? I'm going to divide both sides by 4. So A sub 1 equals, if I have 2/3 divided by 4 over 1, it's 2/3 times 1/4, correct? So this cancels, and my answer is, my first term is 1/6. So my rule is A sub n equals 1/6 times 2 to the n minus 1. How do I figure out what the 13th term is? I'm going to plug it in right there. So I'm going to say, okay, I have 1/6 times 2 to the 12th power. Where did I get 12 from? 13 minus 1. Okay, so now we simplify. It still says no decimals, so I have 1 over 6. What is 2 to the 12th power? 4096. Okay, over 1. So this becomes 4096 over 6. Divide those two. 4096 divided by 6. Is it pretty? No, it's not pretty. But can 2 go into both of these? Yeah. 2 goes into 4096 how many times? 2048. Is that what we said? Okay, there you go. That's your answer without decimals. Very good. It's a long process. Again, guys, if this is a multiple choice question, work backwards. Use your calculator and just plug in answers. All right, a couple more. We're almost done. This is kind of a review of the last stuff we did. All right, exact means no decimals of finite. This is one of those longer problems. This is the one where we have to say, okay, it's my first term, 1 minus r to the n power over 1 minus r. So I got to figure out all this stuff. I got to figure out the n value. How many numbers am I talking about? I'm going to say 12 minus 3 plus 1. What is my n value? 10, right? 12 minus 3 is 9 plus 1. All right, so 10 is going to go there. What is my r value? 5. Perfect. And then how do I figure out what the first term is? Plug in 3. So I have 5. 3 minus 1 is 2, so 5 squared. So 25 times negative 3, so my first term is negative 75. Okay, so let's fill in all the stuff we know. Negative 75 is our first term. I have 1 minus, my r value is 5 to the 10th power over 1 minus 5. Now this just becomes calculator work. I have negative 75 on the outside. Guys, what is 5 to the 10th power? 9765, what? 625. All right, so if I have 1 minus that, do you guys agree with me? It's negative 97654. 9765, yeah. Over 1 minus 5 is negative 4. Everybody with me? Okay, so look, I have 3 negatives. If I only had 2 negatives, my answer would be what kind of an answer? 2 negatives make a positive, but I have 3. So if I multiply the top, negative times a negative is a positive, then we're dividing by negative. So your answer is going to be negative. But go ahead and multiply. What's negative 75 times negative 976,524? Yep. Over 4. Now, we know 2 doesn't go into both of those, but can you divide that number by 4? Is it pretty? No, so just leave it. All right, good. All right. Let's talk about Pascal and his triangle. First of all, this is raised to what row? I don't know. I gotta talk to Ms. Glick. But it's 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. First term, y. Second term, 4. Now, this is easy, guys. How do we do the exponents? Okay, descending. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. How do we do the next row? Ascending. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's talk about signs. What sign is in the middle of this parenthesis? It's a plus, so all of your signs are going to be what? Positive. So let's go through. Let's simplify a little bit. 4 to the first power is 4. 4 to the second power is 16. 4 to the third power is 64. 4 to the fourth power is what, 256? 4 to the fifth is 1024? Ooh, look at me. All right, so now we're just going to multiply down. So 1 times 1, y to the fifth. Plus 4 times 5 is 20, y to the fourth. Then I have 16 times 10, so plus 160, y to the third. Right? 64 times 10, so plus 640, y squared. What's 256 times 5? 1280y, and then plus 1024. Questions on that? No? We're good? All right, next one, fourth row. 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. What is important about each of these terms? Put them in what? Y. So you don't get confused. You don't forget stuff. What I mean by that is you don't forget that when you multiply 2 negatives, you get a positive. What I mean by that is when you have a power outside of a parenthesis, it goes to everything inside. So since I'm to the fourth row, I go 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Then I say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This 4, guys, goes to the 3 and to the x. So this becomes 81 x to the fourth. This 3 goes to the 3 and the x. This is 27 x cubed. This goes to the 3 and the x. This becomes 9x squared. This just stays 3x. We're good? Okay, so here I have negative 2. I'll do a different color. This is negative 2. Negative 2 squared is 4. Negative 2 cubed is negative 8. And then negative 2 to the 4th is positive 16. So just be careful with your exponents that you distribute correctly. So now when we multiply down, 1 times 1 times 81 x to the 4th, you're good to go. 4 times 27 times negative 2 is what? 4 times 7 times negative 2. Negative 50. 27 times 4 times negative 2? That's okay.
Negative
216, okay. X cubed, good. So then 6 times 9 times 4. 216 again. X squared. And then negative 8 times 3 times 4. Negative 96.
Yeah.
And then plus 16. Notice, guys, there's a minus sign in here. So what happened to the signs in your answer? Every other. They switched. Now, these last two. This formula is on the formula sheet. This is a combination. NCR. It's on your formula sheet, but you also have it in your calculator. So remember, this is 19 factorial over 19 minus 16 factorial times 16 factorial. Calculator-wise, guys, do it. If you don't remember how to do it, I'll show you again. But if not, we could just go through here and say this is 19 factorial over 3 factorial, 16 factorial, right? If we were to write it out, 19, 17, 16. How come I can stop at 16? Because there's a 16 on the bottom. So when you were to, oh, I forgot 18, whoops. So if you were to multiply this, guys, what's 19 times 18 times 17 divided by 6? You might get a big old number, that's okay. 19 times 18 times 17 divided by 6.
The answer is
9 what? 916?
969.
969. 969. Good. And then this last one before the bell rings. I have 137 factorial over 137 minus 129 factorial over 129 factorial. So 137 factorial. What's 137 minus 129? 8? Yeah? So 137 times 136 times 135 times 134. 133, 132, 131, 130, 129. Can I stop there? Yes. And on the bottom I have 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 times 129 factorial. Does this work in your calculator, or does it tell you scientific notation?
It's, yeah, scientific.
Okay, scientific notation. That's okay. I don't think you'll get one of those on your final. If you do, no big deal. Just write out the scientific notation. If it says calculator error, then just simplify within. But I don't think I'm going to give you guys that one that big. But again, guys, learn how to do it in your calculator. If you don't know how to, ask me and I'll show you.
Do we have to show work?
No. I mean, if there is that's a good question. If this is a free response, what I want to see is this right here. So you know. But again, there's two formulas. There's a permutation and a combination. They're both on the formula sheet. So use the one that has a C in it. Sound good? Okay.